Imagine waking up tomorrow and seeing headlines around the world, Ark of the Covenant found. Not in some dusty museum, not in an ancient legend, but unearthed today, here, now, real, tangible. What would happen in the next 24 hours? Would wars be declared, or would nations kneel in reverence? The global power balance would collapse, theologies would be rewritten, and our very understanding of the divine would change forever. This isn't just ancient history. This is the future that might be closer than you think. Stay until the end, because we're going to reveal the most shocking consequences that no one is talking about. In the first hours after the announcement, the world would literally stop. Financial markets would panic. Why? Because the Ark of the Covenant isn't just a religious artifact, it's the most contested object in human history. Israel would immediately claim historical and religious ownership. The site would be declared sovereign Israeli territory, no matter where it was found. Ethiopia, which has claimed for centuries to possess the true Ark in Aksum, would contest with their own evidence. The Vatican would demand access for authentication. Islamic nations would mobilize, concerned about implications for Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. But wait, it gets worse. Comment below, do you think this would lead to armed conflict or unite religions? I want to know your opinion. The UN would convene emergency sessions. International treaties on cultural heritage would collapse, because how do you negotiate with something that 3 billion people consider literally sacred? The answer is, you don't. And here's the most disturbing detail. Extremist groups from all religions would see this as an apocalyptic sign. The end times clock would start ticking. Militias would form. Terrorists would plan to steal or destroy it. Now let's talk about what really matters, what this means for the faith of billions of people. Because the Ark isn't just gold and acacia wood. According to Exodus, it contains the tablets of the 10 Commandments, written by God's own finger. It represents the literal and physical presence of God among humans. If authenticated, all Abrahamic religions would have to rewrite their theologies. Judaism would face an existential crisis. Prophets had predicted the Ark would only reappear with the coming of the Messiah. Rabbis have debated for millennia whether the Third Temple can be built without it. Now the question isn't if, but when. And you, do you believe this would prove the existence of God? Leave it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the continuation of this analysis. Christianity would have to confront profound questions. Does this literally validate every word of the Old Testament? How does this relate to Christ's new covenant? Denominations that preach symbolic interpretations of the Bible would enter deep theological crisis. And Islam? The Quran mentions the Ark, Tabut, as a sign of legitimacy. Muslim scholars would have to reconcile its physical existence with contemporary Quranic interpretations. Atheists and skeptics would face their own dilemma. A physical artifact doesn't automatically prove the supernatural, but scientific tests could reveal properties that defy known physics. What if the Ark actually exhibited inexplicable powers, as reported in the Bible? Now let's get into what no one is discussing, how this would completely transform our society on a practical level. Mass pilgrimages. In the first weeks, millions of people would abandon their lives to travel to the discovery site. We're not talking about ordinary tourism. We're talking about a global exodus comparable to the Hajj multiplied by 10. Infrastructure would collapse. Airports, roads, hotels, nothing would be prepared. Entire cities would spring up overnight around the archaeological site. A new Vatican, a new Mecca, the spiritual epicenter of the modern world. Economic transformation. Entire industries would be born. Spiritual tourism would become the planet's largest economy. Tech companies would develop spiritual tourism apps, virtual reality to visit the Ark, scheduling systems for the millions wanting to see it in person. Think this scenario is absurd? Just wait for what comes next. Like the video if you're impressed so far, and share it with someone who needs to see this. But other industries would collapse. Materialist investments would lose meaning for millions. The global economy would undergo a reorganization based on spiritual values instead of purely material ones. Billionaires would launch massive philanthropic foundations, seeing in the discovery a divine call for wealth redistribution. Imagine trillion-dollar funds directed to eradicate poverty, disease, and suffering as a theological response. Cultural renaissance. Art, music, literature, everything would gain a renewed divine dimension. It would be a new renaissance, but global and instantaneous. Scientists would begin questioning materialist assumptions. Universities would create entire departments dedicated to studying divine phenomena. Western philosophy, dominated by secularism since the Enlightenment, would be fundamentally challenged. What if scientific materialism was incomplete? What if there's a dimension beyond matter and energy? But not everything would be light and hope. There's a much darker side to this story. Fundamentalists from all religions would use the Ark as justification for extremism. God is with us would become the battle cry of dangerous movements. Politicians would manipulate religious fervor for authoritarian gains. Religious schisms would deepen. Who has the right to interpret the meaning of the discovery? Who can touch the Ark? Who can guard it? These questions would divide faith communities that were once united. And science would face its greatest crisis. If tests revealed inexplicable properties, how would the scientific community respond? Denial? Acceptance? A division between materialist science and science that accepts the divine. Comment now. Do you think humanity is ready for this discovery, or would it destroy us? Your opinion matters. So, what would happen if the Ark of the Covenant was discovered today? The honest answer is, no one knows completely. But we can be certain of some things. The world would never be the same. Boundaries between the secular and sacred would disappear. Certainties that have guided humanity for centuries would be questioned. Perhaps the most important question isn't, what if it was found, but are we ready for the consequences? Because such a discovery wouldn't just bring answers, it would bring millions of new questions about who we are, why we're here, and what our purpose is in this universe. The discovery of the Ark of the Covenant would be less about the past and more about forcing humanity to decide its future. Would we choose war or peace, division or unity, materialism or transcendence? If this video made you think differently, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and comment what your first reaction would be if you woke up tomorrow to this news. And most importantly, share this video, because this is a conversation the world needs to have. The Ark may still be lost in the sands of time, or it might be waiting somewhere, ready to emerge at the exact moment when humanity most needs it, or is least prepared.